Hey there folks, Charlie here with Pryor Media with another WordPress video for you. Today we're going to take a look at responsive text with X. It was been a pretty big request and there's a lot of people that don't really understand how it works. So I'd like to go ahead and break down responsive text. Now for those of you who haven't heard of responsive text, it is not how text goes to new lines when the browser gets smaller. That's not responsive text per se. I guess you could call it the fact that the text is responding to its container, but responsive text, much like responsive images or anything like that, actually adjusts its size when the browser is resized. And that allows you to get some pretty decently cool effects and allows you to sort of have pages look really good on any device that they're on. So let's talk about responsive text and how you can use it to your advantage. So right here, I've got a simple little 3-column layout thing here or whatever. And I guess I really don't need this many, but I've got it. It's okay. What we're going to do is I want this typography to be a little bigger. It looks a little small. There's a lot of empty space here. I might be able to make this section both more readable as well as take up more space that's already empty if I had this typography be just a little bit bigger. However, I don't want to make it headings. And so far, really, a default way of making text bigger is just to make it a heading or a headline. I don't want to do that. So instead, we're going to use responsive text to make this text larger, take up more space, but also not too large on a mobile phone. Okay, let's get started. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to come over to the actual text itself, and I'm going to enter a class. Now, it's going to look weird. It's not going to do anything initially, but there's 2 steps to this. We have to designate a class and we have to make that class. You could do it in any order you want. I'd like to just go ahead and do mine first. That's just how I do it. But you guys can do it in any order you want. So I'm going to go ahead and make my class RESP. That means responsive to me. And then I'm going to do something like P1. Now what this is think of this as like a label. I'm labeling an effect. That's essentially what a CSS class is. You're labeling a pre-made effect. In this case, it's not pre-made, but I'm going to make it, so it's going to be okay. So here's RESP P1. I'm going to come over here to this headline, do the same thing here, RESP P1. And this is an arbitrary name. You can name this whatever you want, just as long as the class that you're making it as isn't the same as something that's already being used by the theme or a plugin. And that's one of the reasons why I start mine with RESP, because it's really uncommon for any class to start with RESP. And since it stands for responsive, that's just how I do it. You can do it however you want, like I said. So this text box here also has RESP1, and this one here is going to be RESP P1. Okay, so now we're going to go into the settings area in Cornerstone right here. And we're going to click responsive text. You'll notice this little area here. You may have seen it, but never really knew what it does. So let's talk about that. I'm going to go ahead and click add. It creates a new item. I can click that item and I get to edit that item. This is the name. It can be anything you want. No one's ever going to see it. It's only for your internal use. So I'm just going to name mine to be the exact same thing as what I'm going to end up having my selector as. That's just how I do it. Again, you can do it however you want. Now, the selector is the label itself. This is what is being called for the label. So we put RESP-P1 in our class line. So we're going to have to do the same thing with the selector because that's how we connect these two together. So RESP.P1. Now, the selector is in a very, very, really kind of an obvious way for most people. You're creating a CSS class here. I mean, you're kind of doing it with a visual tool, but X knows what to do with this. You're creating your own class. And what we're going to do with that class is below. So I have compression settings, minimum size, and maximum size. When you create a class, also, I forgot to mention this, the selector needs to start with a period. So you'll see it on the screen, and you may just maybe subconsciously didn't realize it, but the selector needs to start with a period. However, when you actually go ahead and make that selector designated in this class line, the class itself doesn't have a period. Okay, so recap real quick, just to make it like super, I guess, obvious. Classes don't have periods. Selectors do have periods. Okay, so give a selector a period and don't give it to the class. Cool. Okay, so compression, we can do this pretty much any way we want. I'm not 100% sure exactly how to describe how compression works. All I will tell you is that the bigger you make this number, the faster this text will change and have an effect. But there is a limit, and I think it's 3.0. I don't think you can go faster than that or on compression. I usually leave mine either 1.0, or if I needed to go a little faster, I go at 2.0. Sometimes I might do something like a 2.5 if there's a real, good cause for it. Likewise, I can also go less than 1 too. We can go to like 0.7 or something if we want to. I'm going to leave it at 1 for this example. The things that's really going to mean something to you in terms of this effect is the minimum size and the maximum size. Kind of self-explanatory. Minimum size is the smallest the text will ever get, and maximum is the largest the text will ever get, okay? So for minimum size, if I want this text to be larger, I'm going to say normal standard body text on this site anyway, it's about 14 pixels. It could be 13 on your site or something, but it's about 14 or 13. But I know I want it larger than that, so I'm going to write something like 18 in minimum. All right, there's 18. Now for maximum, I probably don't want it to get super big, so maybe let's make this like 21 or something. So this text is going to be between 18 pixels big and 21 pixels big. Okay, so let's go ahead and save it, and then we'll take a look at our responsive text and see how it works. Hey, look at that. Much more readable, and it takes up more of the space. That's kind of nifty. I think that's nice. Now, as we make the display smaller, it's not really doing it. Might need to increase the compression here. Let's do it a little bit differently. Let's do like maximum size. I don't know. Let's do like 15 here, and then we'll do like a 24 here. Oh yeah, that's big. And then we'll do a compression as 2.0. I really want to just like show you how this works, and I kind of have to have a good example to do that. I'm also going to get rid of the background images on this section because they're kind of distracting. Those lines are a little distracting. So let's do that. Okay. So back to my responsive text here. We got this. We'll go ahead and save. And let's take a look at how this works. Big text, super big. As I make the browser smaller though, it's kind of, this right here adjusts itself. It took a little bit for it to adjust itself though. That's kind of interesting. Normally the effects are actually quite larger than that. There it goes. See, now you can kind of visualize it. See that? See how the text gets smaller? Not just wrapping, it gets smaller. That's how responsive text is useful. This might not be the best example for it just because of how I got this laid out, but there's going to be a lot of times where this is very helpful, especially when it comes to making text larger than the standard paragraph text when you don't want it to be a headline, okay? I hope this was helpful to you. If this tutorial helped you in any way at all, please make sure you like the video. That really helps the channel a lot. I really appreciate it. And leave me a comment down below if you have any more ideas for quick tips that we can use with X in the future. If it's a really quick thing to explain, less than 8-10 minutes to explain, I'll totally do it. Yeah, that's pretty much it. And make sure you subscribe when you want to know when new videos are available. My name is Charlie from Pryor Media, and thank you for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye.